welcome back to Living History with Ted Goldsboro. Today we are continuing a segment with Nolan Atkinson, a Philadelphia attorney. We're talking about his family and life in Lower Merion. Mr. Atkinson, we were talking about the Bryn Mawr Elementary School, which I think was built around 1914 and then had some additions to it. And what is there today?
There are today office buildings, our medical offices and Founders Bank, where there was, I believe, in mid-70s, one of the first close the school movements that I experienced. I had just become a commissioner because my oldest daughter entered Bryn Mawr and attended, I believe, kindergarten and first grade, and we learned that the school was going to be closed. And at that time, it really looked a lot like it does in this earlier picture. Of course, once it was closed, it became a Founders Bank as well as other offices, and that is how it looks today.
Okay, thank you. After Bryn Mawr Elementary School, you went to Ardmore Junior High?
I did. I entered Ardmore Junior High School in, I believe, 1954. At that time, it was 7, 8, and 9. The principal was Edward Snow, who was a legend in his time, and this is the school I attended, yes.
And its motto, which many of us remember:
enter to learn, go forth to serve. I don't even have to look at the picture.
It had an effect on you too?
Well, it was pretty much just something that was inscribed on you, just as it's inscribed on this building. That's what it was. And I can recall that when you first got to junior high school, everyone told you that there was a picture of Mr. Snow in the lobby and that the eyes moved. And so he was always watching you. If you moved to the left or if you moved to the right, those eyes would move. So you better stay out of trouble.
I have an aerial shot from the late 20s. It's before 32. And I wondered if you could tell me what schools are there.
Well, it appears to be Lower Merion High School as well as Ardmore Junior High School without an administration building.
Good.
So that would be well before my time.
Yes, sir. The administration building was 32, and we didn't get Arnold Field until the 1940s, and it didn't open until 50, so, or it was named in 1950. And then Lower Merion High School, and pretty soon we'll be moving on to other things, but I want to finish the schooling.
Yes, this is Lower Merion, which I entered probably, I guess, September 1957, and in the 10th grade. No, I think it probably would have been 58. But I recall it very well, and recall 10th grade as being, it was a very crowded school, very congested, so coming up you sort of had to learn how to feel your way.
Now, the crowded leads to our next picture. What happened?
They built Harriton High School, and this I know very well, and I attended Harriton High School in the 11th and 12th grade, enjoyed it very much. I'm sure that I was there when they gave the mascot and the school song and all the other. It was sort of fun being there as all those institutions were being created. And I graduated from Harriton in 1960.
Those of us who didn't go to Harriton, we often think of Harriton with those walkways. Why was that needed?
Well, I believe they wanted to have a campus atmosphere where people would feel comfortable walking from the various different buildings. There was a cafeteria building, an auditorium, and then there were areas where the various classrooms were located, and as well as the gymnasium. So you could traverse from one building to the other really without getting wet by walking through there as is depicted in this picture here.
Was it cold in the snow and ice?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then we have a high school picture.
Indeed it is. Graduated in, I think it was June 16, 1960.
Okay.
From the 12th grade. The Mainline Chronicle article, which is here. I want to see how good this says June 9th. They took the pictures early.
Okay.
I feel pretty comfortable it was June 16th.
June 16th. Okay.
This one is the headline showing the president and other class officers, and this is again my photo. The Chronicle at that time would fill up 2 or 3 pages with the entire class. I
newspapers.
Doubt seriously whether they do that today.
Now, after here, you went to college, and where was that?
I went to Boston University, spent from 1960 to 1964 at Boston University. I then attended law school. Attended Howard University Law School in Washington, D.C. from 1964 to 1967, and then entered, I did 2 things. I got very interested in politics and got very interested in the late Robert F. Kennedy's campaign. Got involved in that, and then after that, I became a student at the University of Pennsylvania Law School and got a master's in law and international law at the University of Pennsylvania. So I finished that up in 1970.
So you ran for commissioner when you were still at Penn?
I was in the process of writing my master's thesis and running for commissioner at the same time. Yes.
I want to talk about your parents. We did mention that your father was a medical doctor.
That's correct.
And we have a picture here of your father when I believe you were elected in
1974.
Thank you.
This is a photograph of election night in 1974. This was a lot of fun because I had experienced an election loss in 1969. I had run against C. Dale McLean in 1969, and then someone else had run, I'm sure it's in this article, and this was a successful campaign.
And your father came?
Father came, as did my wife.
Yes.
So that's that photo.
Is that one of the later pictures that we have of your father?
Yes, I would say so.
Okay.
That's how he looked as he was into his 60s and early 70s.
Had he retired from medical practice?
Not in 1969, because he didn't retire from medical practice to 1984.
Oh my, oh yeah. Now here are the obituaries for your mother and father.
Yes.
And they each had a long life, didn't they?
Yes, my father lived until 1999, died at Cathedral Village, and my mother lived until 2 years ago, 2009, and she was also at Cathedral Village. Yes.
Both in their 90s?
Yes. Yes, well into their 90s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Longevity in your family.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. You had a sister, have a sister.
Yes.
And what did she do after she graduated from Lower Merion?
She graduated in 1957 from Lower Merion High School. She had a far more distinguished high school career than I did. And she then attended Vassar College for 4 years. And after that, took on various areas in sociology, and ultimately became the director of the Kingsbury Center in Washington, D.C., where she retired about 5 years ago.
Okay. What is that Kingsbury Center?
It's a school for children who have special needs, and they get various program, educational, and also I'm sure there's some counseling involved as well.
Mm-hmm. When you were coming up, both you and your sister did so well. Your father, of course, had done well to become a medical doctor, but was there any feelings, thoughts in your family about achieving?
I think we all were given an expectation that it was important to apply yourself to the best of your abilities in high school. She was the brains. I was the guy who was trying to keep up with the brains. So my parents never distinguished between the two of us, but we were always felt to apply ourselves. And of course we had the example of our father, who applied himself consistently and all of the time. So I think that was sort of the message that we got in some form. We were fortunate to get it, but it was a good message.
Mr. Atkinson, thank you very much for being with us today, and join us again next time for another Living History.